Hello, how's everyone doing? Hi Scorpio. Thank you for joining me for your June tarot reading. I am immensely sorry for the delay, and I still have one more reading to do after yours as well, so poor Gemini for being the last. But as some of you know, I've recently made a huge life change. I've moved countries, I've started a new job, I've just like, and I study as well, so it's just a lot on my plate, and I would love to keep going with this. I really would. Unfortunately, at this point, I can't seem to do it without delaying everyone. So, thank you for being here. I really appreciate your support nonetheless. I keep coming back month after month because of you, because of your immense gratitude as well. So I want to repay you somehow, and this is my way of doing it, by bringing these readings to you. So, Scorpio, funny story. I will begin to shuffle. I was supposed to record this reading this morning, and I was seconds away from doing so before I injured myself pretty badly. And I felt as though that was some sort of bad omen, actually, where I was like, whoa, okay, what's up with Scorpio? Are we trying to avoid something this month? Is that why I can't do your reading? And that doesn't always happen. However, it has happened before, and not with Scorpio necessarily, but with other signs, and sometimes with myself, actually. When I try to read for myself, then sometimes I will get injured. And I won't even have to do much before I get injured. Like, I'll either burn my hand on the candle, wax will spill on me, I'll cut myself somehow with the cards, or in the case of this morning, I will jam my fingers between my chair and myself, and don't ask how that happened. Yeah, I can be a bit of a klutz. But that's what happens sometimes, huh? I mean, I'm a Scorpio rising, so sometimes I feel like when we're struggling to move forward, or struggling even to admit certain things to ourselves, then we get caught up in this accident-prone behavior sometimes, and obviously not intentionally, and I'm really not saying that Scorpios are klutz at all. I'm a klutz. And maybe there are some Scorpios out there that trip over themselves sometimes, but the idea is that if we are not at ease, mentally at ease, even though we can hide it pretty well physically, we endure a lot of inner turmoil so that we can put up this facade successfully. How we pay for it, in essence, by being a little bit deceptive to those that we encounter, because we don't want anyone to worry. We end up having to deal with our inner turmoil even more so, and left to handle things on our own. And basically things start to pile up, and that baggage grows and grows and grows, and the next thing you know, you're about to explode, and the next thing you know, you're manifesting all sorts of messed up things left, right, and center. Things stop working out, and you ask why? Like, why? And I'll tell you why. That's because days like that, we're not being true to ourselves. Days like that, we're trying to please the people around us, and we're taking ourselves for granted. And basically what ends up happening, watch this tea spill over my laptop. Just saying it can happen. So what ends up happening is that all of that power and strength that you could use to benefit yourself and to get things done ends up being used to basically accommodate that conflict, to accommodate the difference between what's actually going on inside and what's being revealed to the rest of the world from the outside. Ooh, yikes. I know which card that was because I saw it, but now it's face down and horizontal as well, and I'm not sure then if it should be read in the upright or if it should be read in the reverse, but we're going to read it in the upright. And it was the Six of Cups. So plenty of people are getting this card this month, which is really beautiful. I'm just having a look at the cards that have come out so far. Ooh. Well, you do move on, Scorpio, and you will move on. So if it's just a bit of a struggle right now, if something's holding you back, actually, nothing's holding you back. You are holding yourself back. Scorpios are very, very capable of getting things done and really just moving on with things if they want to and if they're prepared to do so. Which means that if something stands in your way or someone stands in your way, it's because you're allowing them to, basically. The only thing standing between us and a brighter, less complicated, less tormenting future is how we deal with our emotions this month. Because we've got a lot of cup cards here, a lot of cups, and they are feeding a lot of mental cards as well. So it's this interplay between emotions and our cognitive thought and how our emotions are working with our output. And output can be many things, can be plenty of things. It can be your private mental thought, and it can also be your outward communication and what it is that you say to those around you. Basically, how you communicate and how you express yourself this month. I don't think I need another card. Don't know why I'm shuffling. So I'll put the cards down and let's have a look at what we have here. Okay. So So yeah, things are a little bit neurotic, Scorpio. Things are quite out of balance. You know this. It's almost like you're anticipating somewhat of a freak out that's about to occur. Where maybe you come into the month of June expecting to have a busier month than usual, and that can be as a result of things piling up on the work front, and or maybe needing to deal with certain administrative tasks as well, things that you may have been putting off, like paying bills, getting a little bit more organized. That spring feeling, spring cleaning vibe can come to me as well, where maybe you've been saying for a few weeks or a few months now, oh, I really have to get this fixed or get a few things fixed around the house, and you've just been putting it off, or you've been planning on closing accounts and opening new accounts, asking for new, I don't know, like switching insurances, just administrative things that can get a little bit annoying. So that is just kind of like those things are the silly things, I would say, that a few of you may have, like a few of us may have to encounter in the month of June. And it's like when we come to deal with those things, it's almost like, you know, when you successfully get an errand done, like one of those errands done, then you can sigh in relief and say, well, hey, at least I got something done positively and no hurdles. Yay, win. In order to compensate for other issues that you're putting off, namely just how you feel about yourself this month, and how you feel about certain things that you're dealing with respect to people around you. So I'm getting this vibe here that a few mind games are being played between you and someone, actually, and it could very well be a Scorpio. It could very well be a Leo. And you may be confusing this Leo, actually, which is why strength is reversed here. But I'm also seeing the strength card in the reverse the way that I was talking about earlier on, when I said that you've got, you know, if you come into the month with a certain amount of reserves, energy reserves, then you may end up finding yourself expending that energy on things that involve dealing with your emotional conflicts. So as opposed to actually channeling that energy and that strength into more productive things and sorting out your emotional issues that you may be enduring, that can involve a lot of things. What's coming to my mind, honestly, is just things involving paranoia, overthinking, playing out certain scenarios in your head that may be, that are not necessarily factual at all, and they're just based on certain, you know, they're fear-based thoughts that you are afraid of actually manifesting. So that also kind of explains this Page of Cups here in the reverse. So this can all be tied up to a Leo individual, but this strength card in the reverse also just talks about depleting your energy reserves because you're trying to handle the emotional conflict that's occurring basically within yourself. So as opposed to actually working things out, you know, using your energy, your time, and your resources to figuring out why it is you feel the way you feel and actually dealing with it constructively, you end up just using that energy to suppress your emotions and to put on a happy face, put on that smile, and just, you know, carry on with your day as though nothing's wrong. And you're really good at doing that, Scorpio. You may have suffered a death and a personal loss, and something really devastating may have happened, for example. I'm not saying that is the case, but hypothetically, you may have just suffered a devastating loss, and you can still go into the office the next day like nothing's happened. Nothing. And then maybe your colleagues will find out a few days later, like someone close to you, God forbid, you know, passed away, or, you know, something horrible has happened, and they come up to you and they're just like, but are you okay? We just heard. Are you fine? You know, hand on your shoulder, like, we're here if you need any support. And you're just like, I'm okay. Carries on with work. So that's how much you endure. But this month, I really feel like we're reaching this tipping point. Like, we're at the precipice where we can't keep doing that, because like I said, things pile up and eventually you will burst, and it's just really unhealthy to keep things bottled up inside of you for too long. Eventually you're going to have to release so that you've got enough space to restock and start all over again. Because let's face it, Scorpio, that's simply how you function. You're not the kind that needs to vent every single time something gets on your nerves or someone gets on your nerves. You don't vent immediately. You don't speak out immediately. You just wait. You know, you'll give the person perhaps the benefit of the doubt. You'll allow your boss to keep giving you more assignments, more tasks to do. You'll get them done. You might not necessarily be okay with it, with all the workload, for instance, but you're just like, it's work, I'm going to get it done, I'm going to remain silent. It's all going to be fine, I'll deal with it, I'll deal with that person later. I'll yeah, it's okay. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay. Just keep saying it's okay, it's fine, even though deep down inside it may not be fine. And then you get to a point where enough is enough. And you will either explode by retaliating, or you'll start to become snappy. You'll accidentally hurt someone, not physically, but, you know, by being snappy. And yeah, it's just not the best way to deal with things, but you know, that's just what we do sometimes, I guess. So, yeah, before I lose track of the cards, I may repeat a few things here and there. It's also so that I can be in check. You may, again, you have this inkling perhaps that the month is going to be extremely busy. So this Four of Swords here, I feel, is like you're sort of really praying, saying, okay, like, I know that June is going to be a little bit tough. There's a lot for me to do, a lot for me to handle, but please, dear God, don't let it be so. Again, you know, without like actually doing something to prevent the accumulation of things, by actually tackling each task one by one, you procrastinate perhaps a little bit. And you freak out maybe because you know that things are out of balance. So you know that when you come to sort things out, it isn't going to be easy. it's going to require a lot of work. And you'll end up basically just looking at all of this accumulated trash, including everything that you just kind of stored away in a corner, like skeletons in your closet style. And when you come to open up this closet, which can actually be a real closet full of shit, sorry, excuse my French, but full of stuff that you've just like thrown in there, which you've been saying, I've been meaning to sort that closet out for a while. And it might not even be you who opens the closet. It could be someone who does that for you, where they might be visiting your house and they're new and you're pointing them to the bathroom, and they open up the wrong door, and next thing you know, all this stuff just comes tumbling down, and you're standing there frantic, and you're just like really embarrassed, and you're not so sure what to say, and the person's standing there, and there's stuff on their shoes, and you're just like, that's not mine, runs away. But it is yours. So it's like opening up a can of worms. So what I just said can be both like physically the case, as in you just have a lot of spring cleaning to sort out, bills piling, envelopes, just a stack of envelopes that you haven't even opened up because you know what the contents are and you're just not willing to deal with it right now. But this can also really just be talking about a lot of baggage as well that you've been keeping within you, and you know that you just have to deal with things bit by bit. You need to trim your garden. That's what she said. It's just a lot. It's just a lot to deal with. And by the way, yeah, Scorpio can start to joke around and start to just throw around. You can like laugh at yourself, and you know that a Scorpio may not be handling things very well if they're masking everything with like jokes. They're trying to be funny. They're throwing around dark humor and just laughing at themselves. Like they're just being a good crack, basically. And I don't know. I mean, not all Scorpios are like that, because Scorpios do tend to be more on the darker side of things, hence the dark humor. But it can also just be like, I'm about to crack, and this is my only form of release right now, where like you'll start breaking out into laughter because something's gone horribly wrong. Like you've deleted a document that you've been working on for a very long time, and just the cherry on top, you can't recover it from the trash bin, because that can happen. So yeah. And I know like a few of you may be looking at me like saying, is that what you're going through, JJ? Are you alright, JJ? I'm fine. However, this does apply to me as well, to some degree. And this is as much a reading for me as it is for the rest of you. So certain things that may come up in June, laughs aside, jokes aside, administrative clutter aside, can be rather painful to deal with. And painful to admit, because they involve past events, perhaps with people that till this day, some of you may still not be able to just move on from. And you're allowing these memories to influence how certain things may develop with other people that have no idea what they're dealing with, who they're dealing with, the kind of baggage that you come with. And that just may be confusing the living crap out of them. So these people can look at you and be like, oh wow, she looks like a lot of fun, she's always laughing, or she's always smiling, she seems to be a lot of fun in general, and just really nice to be around. And they're tempted to be around you, they want to hang out with you, they're asking you out, and because they still don't know the kind of baggage that you may come with, they're all right with being around you. Okay, and I know that sounds really, really bad right now, because you're probably thinking, what the hell does that mean? Does that mean that we're not pleasant to be around usually? No, not at all. It's just that, like with this case here, the people in the past whom you've had this sort of energy with, as well, likewise to the new people who've entered your life, may have had absolutely no clue at the beginning how things would turn out. So you usually meet someone new and you have this very amazing first impression of them, and then you slowly start to discover their demons, bit by bit. Then you're either going to be okay with it or not okay with it. And that goes for both sides, right? Because you are Scorpio and you're so fabulous, people can fall for you, and they can fall really, really hard. And when they do, the ones who are really serious about you, at least, they will stick around, and they'll want to get to know you. They'll want to get to know the good things about you, the bad things about you, everything about you. They'll want to dissect and figure you out, because you also come off as really mysterious. You come off as someone who's just full of surprises as well. And so these people may be very intrigued again. And people from the past, people of the present, people of the future will always be intrigued by you and what it is that you have to offer. So they stick around. And they realize with time that you can be an intense individual, but they stick around nonetheless. When things get rough, you can drag them down into your world, into your deepest, darkest world. The world that they've been wondering about this whole time. The world that you've been trying to protect them from. The world they keep questioning you about, like, why won't you be more open with me? Why won't you be more honest with me? Or why won't you just tell me what's on your mind? Open up to me. Trust me. I can handle it. And you're like, no, you can't. And they keep insisting, yes, I can. And you're just like, listen, I know what's good for you, and this is just something that I want to keep to myself. But then they can come back to you and say, you know, but then that means that there's no substance here. And how can I trust you to, you know, to always be honest with me if you're hiding things from me? Like, what if you're hiding things that you shouldn't be hiding from me? And you just don't know how to explain that certain feelings that you go through might have nothing to do with these people, but everything to do with yourself. Nothing to do with them. And you just know that if you open up that can of worms, they will get involved. They will have to be involved. And then all of a sudden, it's going to become about them. And you've just been trying to protect them from that. Inevitably, however, this has to happen. And this ends up happening. And then it becomes too late. And you're the one who's left saying, hey, I told you so. I told you so. You wanted to know this about me. Well, here you go. I can't tell you how to fix it. So the thing is then, you drag these people down into your deepest, darkest world, and you know how to deal with things. When you say things like, I can't fix it, you mean like, I can't fix how confused you might be right now, how messed up I've just made you feel. I can't fix or like help you understand this further. Good luck. But hey, at least now you're here down with me and we can explore Hades' underworld together. And I'm gonna be fine because I'm used to burning in the fire. You're just gonna have to figure out how to keep regrowing layers and layers and layers of skin, you know, as each layer burns off. You're just gonna have to figure that out, buddy. I've been here long enough to figure out how to overcome this, but I can't really tell you how I do it. So, and then eventually you get out of that anyway. Like, not everyone stays down here, and you eventually learn how to come out of the shadow. You have your great days, your great months, your great weeks where none of this torture affects you, none of this pain influences you at all. But can they recover? I'm not so sure. Do you help pull them out of the fire that you brought them into, even though you didn't really bring them into it? They insisted, and you let it happen. So is it then your responsibility to save them? Not really. But then you become the bad guy. You become the bad guy for letting that happen to begin with. This is going to be a long reading. So that's really what I mean by flipping these people around. So this person, I'm going to say that this King of Cups is you, all right? And you're right in the center of your reading here, okay? If we're talking about a Leo and he's just been flipped upside down here, and we're talking about your man, like how you've been interrupting the development of this potential relationship or friendship or whatever it is, right? You don't want to interrupt the development. It's just that because in June you may be reminded of certain things that make you feel really anxious, certain events of the past that really, really hurt you because people perhaps like this Leo who don't even necessarily have to be a Leo. We're talking about all signs, okay? Because those people couldn't deal with the fire when you brought them into the fire. You really don't want a repeat of those events. You don't want to make the same mistake with these people. And actually, you're not even making a mistake. So that's not even the right word. When I say you don't want to make the same mistake, what I really mean is that you don't want to stumble upon someone who's going to see it as a mistake, or someone who's going to blame you for being so open with them because they asked for it. You want to be with someone who understands where you're coming from and who will back away when you say, I don't think you're ready for this information, or I don't think that you can handle it, and I just want you to trust me. But even better than that, actually, you want to be with someone who will actually truly be okay with it. So, especially for the female Scorpios, who will say things like, you can't handle it, I'm trying to protect you, you don't want to know about this, I don't want to tell you about this, but deep down inside, you do want to tell them. You want to be able to share. You're just god awful scared that they are not going to handle it well. That doesn't mean that you don't want to share. You really do. So these people are confused because one day you may have given them the impression that you have feelings for them. You let those feelings unfold organically. And then you got scared, or you're becoming scared, because this is present. You're a little bit afraid of what comes next. You're not so sure how to proceed. So you may be trying to take those feelings away, but more likely, you're probably putting on a mask that says, I'm cool, I'm okay, I'm collected, I'm not secretly head over heels crazy about you. Oh no, because if you know how I'm actually feeling about you right now and so soon and so early on into this friendship, relationship, whatever it is, you're just going to run away. You're going to run in the opposite direction. You're going to be like, oh, this crazy. She doesn't even know me, or he doesn't even know me. And what is she on about? Like, where are all these feelings coming from? So you might freak them out that way. And you may really just want to be yourself. You just want to be genuine. You wish you could just run up to this person and like tell them everything about yourself, or at least be able to, but you're just not sure if you can do that right now. And that's, again, we're going back to fears and insecurities of how things ended up with other people. You're still holding on to that energy, and you need to get rid of this energy, Scorpio, if you want to bring this Page of Cups back in the upright. This you've delayed. So you've delayed the ability to really get things moving, fasting. You're delaying this friendship from having a direction, or from knowing which direction it ought to head into. And it will be that way. It will continue to be that way, where it's directionless. No one knows what the hell is happening. You don't even know what's happening. This person doesn't even know how to behave around you anymore. This person may be wondering, like, do I approach them? Do I call? Do I text? Do I mimic their behavior, which is like apparently distant, uninvolved, or do I like be the bigger person and just try to start things up with them nonetheless, you know? But it goes both ways, and we, like, Scorpios, have to understand that we're probably not the only ones that share these insecurities. That these people, this person, may also have the same insecurities. We are all human at the end of the day. They may have gone through similar stuff in the past, and they may also still be clinging on to certain insecurities. So, but then what do you do? Like, if you aren't going to be the one who takes charge, and they are not willing to take charge, then no one is actually going to do anything about it, and you're both going to get stuck in this really awkward place, in limbo, in purgatory, and no one wins. No one wins. And then maybe one day things like turn into nothing, and then your whole story becomes a bunch of what ifs. So, Scorpio, do you want this? Do you want this? Yeah, you do. And they're coming for you. So man up. And say goodbye to this energy. This energy. And this Temperance in reverse. And get a move on. Get a move on. Because until you eliminate this paranoia that you're just gonna fuck things up again, sorry. Page of Cups will still remain reversed. You will keep depleting your energies because you have to deal with the consequence of, like, just putting on a fake mask, a facade, instead of just being yourself, going with the flow, but going with the flow as in your own nature, like owning up to how you feel, not freaking out. You will continue to deplete your energy this way. And if we are talking about a Leo, they will stay upside down like this, not knowing how you feel, not knowing what to do with how they feel. And yeah. But I see you overcoming this. I see you figuring out how to move forward. And how you will become very victorious in the end, happy, and you'll carry yourself with more confidence, with more pride. In fact, no matter what happens with this person or with these people, it's just really important, and even more important, that you do this for yourself. Because no matter what the turnout is with these people, you still want to walk away with this Six of Wands. You still want to be proud of the person you are and what you bring to this world and what you bring into, like, your home. the workplace, your family, your friends. Who cares if you're intense? Be intense. Who cares if you're scary at times? Who cares that you're mysterious? That not everyone has you figured out? Who cares that you're like, you know, the one that stands out, the black sheep, or whatever it is? Be you, be expressive, be yourself, and be confident that you are being true to yourself. You're honoring your nature. And you know what? If this person wants to be in your life, then they will. And they'll love you for who you are, what you bring, how you dress, how you think, how you feel. I could go on and on and on, really. So, yes, putting my foot down. Because this needs to happen. It's gonna be a good month, okay? It's gonna be fine. And yeah, don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Okay. I hope you enjoyed your reading, Scorpio. Let me know what you think. Thank you for your love. I love you guys a lot. So, see you next month.